So this has been a fun couple of days, am I right? No doubt my name or face has appeared on your newsfeed this week, probably because of this video here, posted on Thursday. It was by far the most popular video I've ever created, and it was, in many ways, a disaster. So let's talk about it. The purpose of the video, I believed, was very clear. The ends don't justify the means. We are to care deeply about social issues, getting involved with politics surrounding things like abortion, racism, the environment, and so on, but we must always do so as Christians. In the name of caring for the unborn, you can't go and burn down an abortion center, attack doctors, or publicly judge or condemn people. We must never forget that we are a people that follows Jesus Christ. The purpose of the video was to remind everyone to focus on what matters more than anything else: the call to discipleship. Nothing in the whole world is more important than following Jesus, than living as a son or daughter of God. Nothing in the whole world is worth turning from God or losing our soul. Nothing. Nothing. Not even abortion. As awful as this act is, as important as it is that every Christian work to end his existence, it is not so important that we would be willing to do unchristian things to achieve our goal, to forfeit our souls. Abortion is not that important. And so, that's what I named the video. Abortion is not that important. Not abortion isn't important. Not abortion is fine, do whatever you want. No. The title, very clearly connected to what I very clearly explained in the video, was abortion is not that important, because as I said, nothing is that important that we'd be willing to lose our souls over. Our love for God comes first, which ultimately leads us to love our neighbor, yes. To end affronts to the human family, yes. To work for justice for the unborn, absolutely yes. But the order matters. Unfortunately, this message was not heard by many people. Unfortunately, 40% of viewers didn't even make it through the first minute of the video. Unfortunately, literally thousands of people did nothing more than read the title before coming to the conclusion that I was supporting abortion, or at least downplaying its importance, and then promptly proved my point. What I'm about to tell you is not shared out of a desire to play the victim or to seek sympathy. I don't need those things. Truly, the only reason that I share this is to let the truth be out so that we can learn from it and that my point may be made clear. What I received in response to this video was disappointing and appalling. Literally, thousands of people commented and sent me messages judging me, condemning me, personally attacking me and my priesthood. Private messages had vulgar language. More than a few people wished for my death. One Christian said that he was jealous of the angel that would get to throw me into hell. Yeah. A Twitter campaign was waged against me with 2 clips of another video taken out of context, and even today I am getting a constant barrage of messages telling me to go to hell, that I'm a heretic, attacking my personal character, and just being downright mean. These messages didn't come from atheists. They weren't said by supporters of abortion. This was not some outside attack from the enemies of Christianity, at least not in the way that we often think of them. These mean-spirited, hurtful, misguided, and outright hateful words came from so-called followers of Christ. They came from people who claimed to love a man who willingly accepted death rather than fight back, who called his disciples to be meek and humble in the face of attacks, to actually love their enemies. What I've witnessed over the past few days truly was the very thing I was warning about in that video. That there are many Christians so filled with zeal for an issue, so set on accomplishing a particular task, that they are willing to do extremely unchristian things to accomplish it. Judging, condemning, hating, all in the name of God for the sake of the unborn. Folks, I think abortion is repugnant. I think it's the most disgusting thing on the face of the planet. I made a video a few months ago sharing how illogical the support of it was. I made a video the year before explaining why it was such an important issue for us. Heck, I know most people didn't even watch the whole thing, but listen again to the very first line of Thursday's video. As Christians, we have a responsibility to involve ourselves in the issues of peace and justice, to defend the dignity of human life from conception to natural death. When the human family is suffering, when injustice reigns in the land, we can't stand by idly and do nothing. Our faith calls us to action. We have a responsibility to end this atrocity, but we must do so as Christians. We must fight this evil with good, not evil. Because really, even if I was saying that abortion is fine, that it's not that important, do whatever you want, even if you thought I was saying something I most certainly wasn't, there is absolutely no excuse for that sort of response. None whatsoever. You don't treat priests that way. You don't treat your fellow Christian that way. You don't treat your greatest enemy that way. Why? Because we're Christians. Because we love people, not because of who they are, but because of who we are. You can't be pro-life and hate people. You can't be pro-life and attack your enemies. You can't be pro-life and hope that people go to hell. It's not who we are, and it undermines the very argument we make for being pro-life. Now, about the title and thumbnail. I received many messages from people saying that they got the point I was making, but that I had gone too far. That some people wouldn't watch the video and think that I was supporting abortion. This was the source of a lot of malice this weekend. Here's what I have to say. First, again, the very first line of the video contradicts that. Even if you watch only 10 seconds of the video, which truly is your own fault, I can't control people making stupid assumptions without even watching the video. But even if you watched only the first 10 seconds, you would not have been fooled into thinking that I support abortion. I don't, and clearly say so on multiple occasions. As for the title not being clear enough, being a little clickbaity as some said, I don't know what to tell you. That's just how YouTube works. Simply stating what a video is about doesn't get views. True clickbait is when you give a title that has nothing to do with the video, and that was not the case here. Just like my videos Don't Become a Priest, 5 Tips to Being Evil, Don't Follow Your Passion, and Stop Trying to Be Pure, there is a serious truth in what I say, just not in the way that you would immediately think. Abortion is not so important that you should lose your soul over it. I meant the original title and stand by it. It is an important message that people need to hear. Unfortunately, people were more interested in getting offended by the title than trying to figure out what it might mean, and I won't apologize for that. That said, I have since changed the title. I did change the thumbnail. Not because I believed that it was offensive or wrong, but because I found it to be ineffective. The very people I wanted to reach, those who have made politics their god, who use offensive tactics to smear their enemies, who are so blinded by one issue that they can't see the bigger picture, were blinded by the title and thumbnail and so couldn't see the bigger picture. Those who already recognize this problem in Christianity, even those who support abortion themselves, got the message. They understood that the title and thumbnail were for shock value and that it pointed to a deeper reality. It wasn't lost on them, but I wasn't hoping to reach them either. The people I hoped would get the message, who I hoped would see that nothing justifies hatred, took one look at it and were sent into a fit of hatred. As clever as I thought I was, and as effective as it was at getting the video out to more than 350,000 YouTube feeds, it wasn't effective in changing hearts that needed to change. In this way, I considered it a failure and decided to change it. As for this video right now, I'm just trying again with the same message. I don't believe that I'm saying anything more than I did before, only sharing my experience as a way to hopefully reach those who may have missed it the first time. It is my hope that some of the people who were turned off or offended by the first video will watch this one, will see that there is truth to what I said, and take it as a learning experience. Look back on how you reacted to the original video. No matter what you thought I was saying, think about how you responded. Was it a Christian response? Was it the way that Jesus would have handled it? Are you proud of your actions? My guess is that for the vast majority of you, the answer is yes. I received far more positive feedback than negative, and so I thank you. Truly a blessing in my life. But maybe you can't say yes. Maybe I angered you in such a way that you felt a need to respond in a way you now regret. Think about it. Take it to prayer. Ask God for forgiveness in the way that you treated an enemy. Again, this is not about playing the victim or getting sympathy. I don't need an apology from anyone. This is still all about discipleship. It's about trying to help you live an authentically Christian life, challenging you to give absolutely everything to Jesus. The fact of the matter, honestly, is that none of your words hurt me personally. What hurt me was the thought that there were Christians moving further away from Christ. That is not what I wanted. If I have caused you any unnecessary distress, I truly am sorry and do hope that this might be a learning experience for you and for me. We need to learn to give each other a bit more of the benefit of the doubt. We need to learn how to ask questions of ourselves before we go and correct others. And that when we do ultimately correct each other, we need to learn how to do it in a loving way. Despite what some of you may think, I am not your enemy. I am not some leftist, modernist, Marxist heretic that is out for nothing but fame and money. All I want, all I've ever wanted, is to follow Jesus and to help others do the same. I'm not perfect at it, that's for sure, but my intentions are 100% pure. Let's put the gun down and begin to treat each other as Christians should.